That wasn't too bad. I mean, I started a lot, but
Yeah.
it's okay. First episode. It's okay. Can't have a flawless victory on your first episode. This is the BG After Hours show. Play that music. Welcome all you beautiful people to the BG After Hours show. I am your host, Ben Garber, and I hope you guys are doing a fabulous day in November and get ready for Thanksgiving. Now, we got a special guest in this episode today, and that is my boy, the T-Dog himself, Trent Smith. Introduce yourself, Trent.
Hello, Ben Garber.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Trent.
I like movies. I like video games. I like to have fun.
What's your favorite movie and favorite video game? How about that?
Favorite movie of all time? Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Favorite game of all time? I love, Gears of War in general. But I'm trying, it's so hard for me to pick a certain one right now.
It's always a mixed bag because you never know which one you like more.
Yeah.
Alright. Pretty good. I like that. Alright, but thank you everyone for coming to the show and talking or listening to us today. I almost said talking, that would have made no sense. Anyways, let's go quick overview of our side and main subjects for you guys. First, we're gonna go through the quick overview of media, talk about everything from anime, movies, games, TV shows, and all that stuff. And then we got I already said that. And we got the icebreaker breaker moment for all you. I'm stuttering as all hell, but I don't care. For our guest and for me, so you guys get to know us a little bit more. Got our sub-segment for the games that released this month, and we'll also be talking about a game released last month. And then our main topic, which is going to be talking about the Resident Evil versus Silent Hill, which is a pretty cool subject, I won't lie. And then, if we have enough time, we'll do another sub-segment, which is Nintendo versus the likes of Sony and Microsoft. And that's about it, so let's go into that quick look at media. Now we on the quick overview of media. Got some pretty interesting stuff here, Trent. I hope you enjoy this stuff. So I threw this one in here. For the internet side, apparently YouTube is getting rid of dislikes.
I saw that actually this morning. And I saw a meme where it was like someone put on there, YouTube gets rid of the dislike button, everyone in the comments dislike.
Yeah, I can see that. Or somebody says dislike and everybody likes it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they would do it, because most of the time dislikes don't even do anything. The only time I've seen dislikes do something is with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. When the trailer came out, everybody disliked it and literally showed yeah. I mean, I think it was like the second most disliked video on YouTube. It was ridiculous. But I don't know. YouTube be wild in these days. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it hurts people's feelings.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe it has something to do with people getting offended for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, most of the big YouTubers, they'll get a couple, like 100 some or a couple hundred some dislikes, but when you see the video has 1.6 million likes, you're like, oh, it's a good video.
Yeah,
everybody dislikes it. So I don't know.
It doesn't matter what you put out. Not every single person in the world is going to like everything you put out.
Right.
I mean, I know some people just hit the dislike button just to be that person, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. Anyways, that's it for the internet. There wasn't much info, but I just saw that the one day and was like, that'd be kind of interesting to talk about. Anyways, next up we got anime. Now I know, Trent, you don't like anime, so we'll get through this quick.
Yeah.
So, alright, so first off, Netflix is debuting the first 12 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 6 Stone Ocean. And
I actually did watch the first episode of that show.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you didn't like it because
No.
but hey man, it's alright. But This continues the story with Jotaro Kujo's daughter, Jolene, and it's gonna be pretty cool. I can't wait to watch it. And it's interesting that Netflix is doing it, or at least the first 12 episodes. So next up, we got the new My Hero Academia movie, World's Heroes Mission, earns over $10 million in US dollars on the box office and ranks number 2 on debut weekend in the US, which is pretty good for an anime movie. I won't lie.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Because that movie was pretty good. I like that. I like that movie. It was better than the second one. Anyways, that's my opinion. Netflix teases a live-action Gundam film and new content. Now, why are we still making live-action anime? It never works. It never works, but Gundams is cool, I guess. I don't know. Gundam was a pretty old anime. I want to say it's old, but it's pretty cool. It's just basically Transformers, but in space. Well, they're mechs. So it's not really Transformers. They're just giant mechs that look like Transformers, and they're in space. Pretty old anime, but pretty cool. And then next we got, this is the last one, we got Cowboy Bebop is getting a live-action TV show and will be releasing its first episode November 19th. Now, Cowboy
Bebop?
Yeah, so this is an anime.
Bebop from, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No. This anime, I think, came out in the 90s, maybe the 80s, but it's basically, it says, the futuristic misadventures and tragedies of an easygoing bounty hunter and his partners. Spike Spiegel is a bounty hunter in a far future with an easygoing attitude and some deadly skill of martial arts. And yeah, it came out in 1998. Okay, I forgot to put that in there. So that's actually one of the ones I want to watch because I heard it's really good. Yeah. All right, we're done with anime. We're done with the hard part for you, Trent, because you had nothing to really talk about. But I mean, you contributed way more than I thought. I thought you were going to be silent the entire time. I won't even lie. But anyways, now we got movies, which we got some pretty cool stuff here. I think I know this one part we're going to be talking about for a little bit, but Marvel Eternals released out in November 5th and has made around $90 million so far.
Holy crap.
In the box office. I don't know how, I'm trying to remember like when like the Avenger movies came out. I don't know how good that is for a Marvel movie. I think it's pretty good. At least it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's
only been out for a little bit.
I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Black Panther. But so I mean, I wouldn't really be able to tell you how successful.
Yeah, but I mean, that's more something Jordan would know because he literally watches movies like every day.
Shout out to Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to the boy Jordan Johnson. He will definitely be a guest on this show. Anyways, I have a little description for Eternals because I don't even know. I know what they are in the comics, but it says Eternals is a superhero film based off the Marvel Comics race of the same name. In the film, the Eternals, an immortal alien race, emerged from hiding after thousands of years to protect Earth from their ancient counterparts, the Deviants. So, I don't know if this is the same race, but there's one superhero named Black Bolt, and literally, he's basically I'm trying to think of a character you might know. He shoots like sonic waves out of his mouth, and even if he whispers, it's loud.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he can fly with it, which is weird, but I thought he was pretty cool. Next up, we have... Are you a fan of Ghostbusters, Trent? Quick question.
I've actually never seen them.
Oh, my. That's a great film. Those are great films. At least the first two are pretty good. But anyways, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is I guess it would be the third film, because it does continue the story, but there was that one other film, Ghostbusters. Anyways, that comes out also on November 19th as that Cowboy Bebop show, and is set 30 years after the events of the second film. And it's a single mother and her 2 children move to a small town in Oklahoma where they discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and their grandfather's secret legacy. So it sounds like they're continuing it, and I've seen the trailers and I thought it looks pretty good. But I'm not like the biggest Ghostbusters fan, so. But I still like the first film and the second film.
Yeah.
And then our last movie today. This is the one I was talking about. we're going to be talking about this one for a little bit, but Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City comes out on November 24th. Once the booming home of a I cannot say that. How do you say that? Pharmaceutical. How do you say that? Yeah. What he said. Giant umbrella corporation. Raccoon City is now a dying Midwestern town. The company has left the city in a wasteland with great evil brewing below the surface. When the evil is unleashed, the townspeople are forever changed. A small group of survivors must work together to uncover the truth behind Umbrella and make it through the night. Now, we've both seen the trailer, and as fans of Resident Evil, we have to disagree because we do not think it's going to be good.
No.
Most of the time, movie or game movies.
Well, they've made Resident Evil movies. There's Resident Evil movies that have already been made, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those don't do a good job either, but they're interesting, I guess.
Which further proves my theory. Don't ever make a movie into a video game, and don't ever make a video game into a movie.
Yeah.
It's just it just doesn't work.
I don't know. I think it's because gaming, you're in the experience, but as a movie, you're watching people in the experience. It's like watching a YouTube video. Like, you're not experiencing it; that person's experiencing it, and you're just watching their experience.
It's two completely different things. Like,
yeah.
There's a big difference between like playing through a story and watching a story unfold. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't like it.
I think it's because like when you think of like say I'm trying to think of another video game movie that's not like these Resident Evil movies.
They made Silent Hill movies.
I haven't seen those, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. But let's say like, okay, so like Resident Evil. What the first thing I think of Resident Evil is running around and like avoiding zombies, collecting stuff. I do care about the story, but that's not the first thing I think of. But the movie's only about the story.
Yeah.
So, because like I was thinking, like I was watching a video and it says talking about movies and stuff that are gaming movies. It was saying like, think of Legends of Zelda. Like, what was the first thing you did in Legend of Zelda? And this is like the new one. It's like, oh, I went and explored. Yeah. Well, in the movie, they want to give a shit about the exploring. They would care more about the story.
It's all, yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, I think the effects are cool, but I don't know. I think it's just not going to be. Also, I don't like how Leon looks. He looks like a side character, which that's not Leon.
I just think it's funny how the guy that plays Leon is the guy that played Beck on Victorious.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No. But,
yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's whatever. Alright, so now we got TV shows, and some of these you'll care about, and some of them you'll just be whatever. Because the first one is about Stranger Things.
Wait, hold up. Did you know that they were actually talking about making Gears of War into a movie there for a while?
Really?
Yeah, they were going to have Batista play Marcus Phoenix. And okay. I was just like, no, please don't.
Well, I don't know if this was real or if this is fake. This was such a long time ago, but I think they were also thinking of making a BioShock movie. But every single time I look into it, it's always super fuzzy because it was such a long time ago. Like, most people on the internet aren't sure about it. But like, I was like, I think it'd be good as a movie, but not based off the game, because there's a book that's like a prequel to the games. I was like, if they base it off of that would be better than the game, than doing it from the game. But yeah, that's interesting with the Gears of War movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, so for first topic for TV shows, we have Stranger Things, which is says here, Stranger Things will be afoot again in Hawkins, Indiana. The fourth chapter of the Netflix supernatural thriller Stranger Things will be premiering in the summer of 2022. and will be set in the spring of 1986. Now, I know we both never seen Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I was thinking of watching it, but I never got into it.
The first episode.
You watched the first episode?
I watched the first episode, and I couldn't vibe with it.
It was funny. I walked into class, I think Thursday, and my teacher's like, or no, like I went to the bathroom and I came back. She's like, "Hey Ben, you ever watch Stranger Things?" And I'm like, "Nope." And like she knows that like I like older stuff, like I like stuff from like the 60s, 70s, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, I feel like you would really like that show. And I'm like, I never got into it because like everybody was into it and it was popular.
Yeah. Which is why
just
you
like
Squid Game.
Yeah,
but...
that's our next part. I just said Squid Game. My next part is about Squid Games.
Okay, let me tell you something. Squid Game, yes, it's that show that like everyone is talking about, but like I'm telling you, you have no idea what you're missing. Squid Game is a top tier show.
Top tier?
It's top tier.
Is it really top tier though?
Huh?
I said, is it really top tier?
It really is. Ask anybody that has watched the entire first season. It's like it's so good. Like the story is really good. Like you really get in touch with the characters. It's just like it's really good.
But you're also talking to the guy that rather watch slice of life anime than anything. So I don't know. I might give it a chance.
I think you need to give it a chance.
But right here I have is Squid Games has made over or around. This is crazy, and this isn't like all calculated yet, but it says Squid Games has made around 891 million since its release.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And from what I have, it says like Netflix has something to calculate this, and this is like, it's not like, I don't know. It's weird to explain, but it's like not all calculated and not all distributed yet. So it's not like the actual number, but it's like ever since release, it's been making money, and that's around how much it's made.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
That's
I was
wild.
like, holy shit! Like that's a lot of fucking money.
Did you see that they're going to be releasing a line of Funko Pops for the show in May, I believe?
I think I did see about that.
I will be getting all of that. I will be purchasing that entire set.
The only one I will get is the big robot that says green light, red light.
Wait, they're releasing I didn't see that one.
Oh, did they? I thought I thought they did see one. Maybe that's okay. Never mind then.
I just saw.
Though.
Huh?
They should though. That's like one of the main things about the show that everybody likes is that robot.
The red light, green light one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm going to
Oh no! What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna look up which ones are gonna be Funko Pops real quick.
All right. While he talks about that, I'll talk about this little part, which is Marvel's Hit Monkey, which is a character. Season 1 is coming out on Hulu, and it's November 17th, and it's an adult cartoon. Now, literally, Hit Monkey is exactly what you expect. It's a monkey that is a hitman.
Oh.
The monkey that hits people. But no, it's literally just a monkey hitman, and he's pretty weird. But yeah, I did see trailers for this, and it looks kind of cool. I never really got into those Marvel adult cartoons. There's one called MODOK that I heard is like very, very good, but
yeah,
I don't know if I'll ever watch it.
Okay, so they're releasing Il Nam, Ollie, I think the circle and the triangle masked soldiers, Ji-Hyun.
Wait, who's Ji-Hyun? Is that the main guy?
He's like the main guy, the one that like you see all the memes like of him smiling.
Okay.
That's him. Kong Se-byok, or I don't even know how you really pronounce that one. Songwoo, and that's all.
Okay. They should do a wave 2 and it's
They're releasing a silver metallic Squirtle Funko Pop. Squirtle.
Squirt out. That's pretty cool though. All right, so yesterday, I think there was a whole Disney Plus event yesterday, but the one thing I saw that I was interested in was they're making I feel like, I don't know if you know about this character or not, but there is a new teaser for Marvel Studios' She-Hulk, which is coming out on Disney Plus.
Really?
Now, do you know who She-Hulk is?
I just know it's the Hulk, but he has different genitalia.
Okay. So She-Hulk is I don't know her human or like her actual name, but it's like a distant cousin of Bruce Banner.
Okay.
And somehow she goes through the same experience that Banner did to get these Hulk powers, but she can control it. Like she's like
gamma sickness.
Yeah, like the gamma experiment or whatever it is. But she like can control it. Like she's just herself, but like as the Hulk. And Hulk will be in this like show, or like Professor Hulk, so the one we got in Endgame. So like it would be like a mix of Banner and Hulk into one person. Because he was in the teaser, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to watch this now because I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
So, and then the last subject we have is Young Justice, which is, I'll describe what it is, but it will be returning to media back on HBO Max. Now, Young Justice is a TV show that is, what's the best way to describe it? It talks about like teenage sidekicks of other heroes. So we have Robin, Beast Boy, Star-Lord. Oh, by the way, this is DC. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Robin, Beast Boy, Aqualad, which is a sidekick of Aquaman. I forget her name, but there's a character named Martian Manhunter, and then there's like a sidekick version of him.
Yeah.
And I forget his name, but it's the sidekick of the Flash. And then it's the last one, if I remember correctly, because I watched this a long time ago, was Superboy, which is a clone of Superman.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool because it's like, it's kind of like Teen Titans, but like it's a lot. I don't want to say it's darker because it's not. I don't know. I haven't seen it in years. It's been so long, but they're continuing it, which is really cool. And it'll be back on HBO Max, and it's a really good show. I remember last time I seen it, I was having a blast. So I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's coming back because I got shut down. Like you know how some cartoons they'll not finish because like the studios like shut it down, but it's most of the time it's like a cartoon everybody likes. So it got shut down before it finished, and now that it's coming back, it's pretty cool. All right, that's it of TV shows. Now we're going to a segment that I know we'll probably be talking about a little bit, and that's games.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about games later, but this is just like some of the other stuff. So Nintendo Switch console has sold 92.87 million so far, and they tease a new console. Not like just like an interview, I think they teased it, and it's supposedly like a Switch 2. So like an actual better Switch. So that's cool. I still don't own a Switch, so
I don't get Nintendo.
Well,
they had the Wii, and then they had the Wii U, and then they bring out the Switch, and now they're gonna be like, yeah, Switch 2.
But we'll talk about them a little bit later, though. We'll talk about them a little bit later.
Yeah.
We got 2 anime games. I know you don't care, but real quick. Jump Force, which is like one of the most recent anime games, is supposedly going to be taking off the marketplace, and the online service will also be taken away. And that's kind of crazy because that game came out 3 years ago, and it's already like getting off the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of crazy because it's basically like it's Smash but anime because it has so many anime characters. It doesn't play like Smash, but like I say Smash because it's like a huge ass collab.
Yeah,
all these characters. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Dragon Ball Fighter Z together has sold 8 million copies together, and they will be doing events on both games to celebrate. And I played both of these games. Pretty damn good games. I won't even cap. Dragon Ball Fighter Z better though. More of a traditional fighting game, but it's pretty cool.
Didn't you have me play that one time?
Yeah, because you challenged me against Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which was probably your biggest mistake of your life. And then you lost without without even. It was a bloodbath. I'll just say that. And then you were like
fighting games. Fighting games just aren't my thing. I've never been great at them.
I think fighting games in general are everybody's especially when I'm in this scenario, everybody's terrified because I'm passionate about those games.
Yeah.
I play those games all the time. They're so much fun. All right. Next we have Valve delays the Steam Deck. Do you know about the Steam Deck?
No.
Okay, so basically think of a Nintendo Switch, but it's Steam.
Oh.
So it's like a PC Nintendo Switch.
I see.
And it's been proven to run a lot of games that PC owns. So it looks pretty cool. I would probably rather get that than a Switch. But anyways, it's been delayed by 2 months. And the reason why is because they are having issues with global availability and supplies. So,
I thought you were about to say they have issues with global warming.
You guys, we have global warming. We gotta shut it down.
We can't bring this out. Global warming's really getting in our way.
Yeah, stopping our boats from overflowing. But but no, they're just not much supplies. Which is, it's that's for everything for gaming because PlayStation 5s, Xbox Series X's, and all that stuff. Which is. And also scalpers. That's also the main problem. But
while we're on that, I hate scalpers so bad.
Who loves them? Probably only their moms. But that's about it. But yeah, scalpers suck.
Yeah.
I remember you're trying to get that mini fridge for Christmas, and scalpers
I know. It's already sold out because people are like. Yeah, give me literally your entire...
Give me 50 of those mini fridge. Sir, that's a lot of money. I know, I got money to spend.
Don't worry,
the whole thing is we have to wait because they're gonna be like, wow, I bought all these things and they're not selling. I gotta return them or something. Or reduce my prices.
Here's my thing. Just don't buy anything like that from a third party. Just don't.
Yeah.
All you're doing is helping them. We don't want that. We want it to be done. Just everybody just needs to come together and not buy that stuff third party. Only get it from the source.
Yeah, I agree, but
it's never going to be like that though, because people want stuff and they want it now, and they're going to spend. The thing extra, is, people are willing to spend double
the price,
triple the price for an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 because they want it so bad.
Yeah,
and that's what sucks. I don't think it's ever going to end. Because I don't think anybody's ever going to actually stop.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little ridiculous. I won't even go cap.
Yeah, and you thought this was bad. Just wait till the next generation of consoles. You probably won't even.
I don't even want to think about that right now. I just got my Series X a couple months ago.
I don't know about that for another probably 6, 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8 years, yeah, that's about when they make the new ones. I don't know. It just sucks that happens, but it's I feel we just need the government to come in and be get the fuck out, get the hell out of here, bro. That and spam calls, bro. Like, how are we in the year 2021 and we still getting spam calls, bro?
Yeah. I don't know if they have it set like this already, and I don't know if people are just finding a way to like get past it somehow. But I think online orders for that stuff too need to be limited to like one per person.
Well, I think some websites are doing that and some aren't. Because I swear I remember like Best Buy saying like, oh, you can only buy one.
Yeah.
Like, you can't buy more than one. So,
the thing is, you have to be like really lucky in order to get just one. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, I got lucky as all hell to get mine from GameStop.
Shout out to Jake Randall on Twitter.
Yes.
He is the reason that me and you both have our consoles.
Exactly. Every time somebody like texts me saying, "How'd you get your Xbox?" I literally send them directly to Twitter to that guy. Because he's literally the only reason I got it.
Yes.
So, shout out to him. I don't even know what his Twitter is, but
I ended up spending like $200 more because the only one that was available was like the GameStop like bundle edition that had like the extra controller in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And it was supposed to come with a $20 GameStop gift card that I still have yet to receive.
Now, see, I had to do the same, but I got my gift card. So
that was another thing. I was supposed to get 3 free months of Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I never got that either. So yeah, I mean, I kind of got screwed out of that. I mean, but I don't really care. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, it still sucks.
If I'm gonna spend $700 on a console, like I want everything in the bundle.
Yeah, I think mine was like $750, and I got that stupid like baseball game that I didn't even try. Like, I literally sold it right when I got it.
Oh yeah, did you actually find someone that like bought it?
No, I just took it back to GameStop, which was kind of dumb, but whatever.
What, they gave you like $2?
They gave me like $15.
Oh, and it was a brand new game?
Yeah, still not even open. Literally not opened.
And they gave you $15?
Yeah.
Screw GameStop, man.
Honestly, though. And then I also got the white controller, but I wanted to get another controller anyways, so I was okay with that.
Yeah.
And then I got my gift card, which I bought Resident Evil Village with.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. It's weird time right now for gaming.
It is.
Or at least consoles and stuff. So, next up, we got Dead by Day. We got really sidetracked, by the way. But that's okay. That's okay. That's what the podcast is all about. We got Dead by Daylight is releasing their next chapter, Portrait of a Murderer, with our first proper look at the new killer named The Artist, which she's pretty cool.
The Artist.
So she has like, yeah, she's freaky as all hell. Like I would be terrified to see her in real life. I'm not even gonna cat, bro. Anyways, she got like these hand things. Think of like Venom and like that like sludge stuff that he can control from his body, but that's her arms.
Oh.
And it's like ink. So like that's the Artist theme because it's ink.
That's interesting.
And her power is like crows, and she can like set them up and then release them when she wants to. So like, say like somebody's looping you through a pallet, you can literally set it at the pallet, and right when they go through, they'll get hit.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I think she'll be pretty cool, interesting. And her perks are busted. I really want to get her just because of her perks. She has a perk where if you hook somebody on a special hook, the gen that has the most progress will lose instantly 15% and start regressing.
Jeez.
And there's only 4 hooks throughout the entire map, so I guess it depends on how far each hook is.
Yeah.
Then this perk, which is completely new, is if you break a hex totem, she can go to said hex totem and fix it, and it becomes a new hex, which, depending on how many hexes, it's even more debuffs for the survivors. So if you repair 1 hex, it's 30% less repair speed for gens.
Oh my goodness.
then 2 is 30% less healing speed. And then I forget the rest, but they're like, I think 1 is like 30% less speed to opening the exit gate. But I think you can go and destroy them, and then after you destroy them again, she can't fix them. But like, yeah, she's busted. I can't wait. I can't wait to play as her. And then our next, sorry, I forgot to mention the new survivor that they're gonna add is John Vasquez. I think that's how you say it. And he's like a math. It's like it's Vasquez.
Yeah, Vasquez.
Vasquez.
Yeah.
I don't know his perks because I didn't really give a damn about the survivor's perks, but because I play killer, so that's what I care about.
Yeah.
But he's like a mathematician. I think he does something with gens and stuff, if I remember correctly. So, but they'll be released later this month. So I can't wait. I can't wait to play as the artist. I think he's gonna be a super cool character.
It'll be interesting to play against her.
Yeah, especially when it's me. Anyways, next up, this is so depressing because we're both. I mean, you have a PlayStation 5, but this is depressing for me because I own an Xbox and you own this game on Xbox. But Marvel Avengers finally releases a trailer for their next character, which is Spider-Man, and it's only a PlayStation exclusive. Those motherfuckers.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna get Avengers for the PS5 just to get Spider-Man, just to flex.
It's not even crossplay though. You can't even play with me then. So you're playing by yourself.
Yeah, I'll
you have to play through the story again.
I'll just get it and send you a picture of Spider-Man on my TV just to flex.
I'm so pissed. And he looks so good because they released a picture of his outfit and everything. I'm pissed. They have a different voice actor though. Like it's not the same one from the games, so I'm interested.
Is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man going to be?
If it is, I'm gonna cry. That's all I'm gonna say because I know for sure I want that. But it might. I don't know though, because I know it has like some rights like to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Speaking of Tobey Maguire, if Flash Thompson doesn't make an appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home.
He's not going to make an appearance. He's too much of a minor character. But if he did, that movie would be an instant 10 out of 10. I wouldn't want to fight me neither. Yes. We both said at the same time. Too good. And then there will be an event with Spider-Man called With Great Power. And the event will happen on November 30th. So, good for you PlayStation players, you bastards. But sad for all of us. Unless I hope we get something, like maybe like salvage or something. I'll be happy with that. Or credits, whatever the fuck it's called. I call it salvage.
I can get another copy of the game. I'm not going to, but I'm not stupid.
You could. You have that chance, but...
I could, but I'm not going to get another copy of the game just to play as Spider-Man. When I could just get the Spider-Man game for the PlayStation 5.
That's true. Or the new one, the Spider-Man 2 game that'll be coming out, I think, in 2023. That's going to be cool. I can't wait for that one. I can't wait to not play it. That's what I'm basically saying.
It's okay, Ben. I'll get it for the PlayStation and you can come over and play it.
Let's go! Buggers! I was seeing people in the comments, they were like, people were like, this is such bullshit, bro. Like this is not even fair. And then there was people like, I would pay like $15-$20 just to get the character, even though they're supposed to be free. And then people were like, bro, just buy a PlayStation. It's like, oh, so I should spend $600 to get a PlayStation and the game. Yeah, okay, buddy.
They act like it's that easy to get one too.
Yeah, literally. Freaking. I feel good for you guys because you got Spider-Man and that's cool, but it's like kind of sucks for us people because especially me, Spider-Man's my second favorite superhero and he's locked behind a paywall.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. That's it for a quick look at media. That actually did a good bit of time, but I had a lot of information. Probably not. Probably won't have that much information for each time, but since first podcast, I want to include a good bit. So. Thought that was a pretty good segment. Now let's get into the icebreaker for our guest here. All right, welcome to the icebreaker segment. This is for our guest here. I mean, I'll answer the question as well. And also, if you guys want to, leave a comment below of what you would answer this, because I think have some interaction would be pretty cool. Anyways, so, if you could go to any place, fictional or not, where would it be and why? And if you don't have an answer, I can answer it first.
If I could go anywhere.
Yeah. And if you don't want to go, to a fictional place, you want to go to somewhere real, go ahead. I don't care. But that's why I wrote that there.
Wow. I mean, probably.
I can go first.
Probably Six Flags Magic Mountain in California.
Okay, buddy. Six Flags Magic Mountain?
I've always wanted to go there, and I've never been to California.
Alright. I don't know, like, I was thinking you'd go, like, Star Wars or something, but...
Nah. I was thinking more realistic.
Okay. I respect it. But, you know where I would go?
What?
This is not even a question, but I would have to describe it, and it's, I would want to go to Rapture in BioShock.
Oh, yeah, you've said that before.
But I wouldn't want to go for where the game is set, because the game is set in, like, a civil war. I want to go before, when, like, Rapture was at its peak, where everything was thriving at its time. That's where I would want to go, because, like, I love the aesthetic of that place, and there's in BioShock Infinite, there's a DLC called Burial at Sea where you go back to Rapture. And the first part of the DLC, you're literally just walking around Rapture, like, thriving. Like, nobody's fighting, it's just people, like, just buying stuff and all that. And that was, like, the coolest part. Like, that was probably, like, my favorite part of the whole DLC. Was just that segment, because it was super cool. And the aesthetic was amazing. So, that's where I would want to go. It'd be incredible. But right when the war starts, I'll be bouncing, because I ain't trying to die. But that was the icebreaker moment. That was pretty quick. I did not think that your answer was going to be like that, but because I was thinking like, oh, I'll go to Star Wars, bro, or something like that. But anyways, that was pretty cool. Now we'll go to our first sub-segment, which is new or releasing games of this month. Here we are, talking about the new games. And you mentioned this before the podcast, and you wanted to talk about Back 4 Blood, which came out like literally the beginning of October. So this is like not even this month, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, so let me just say, Back 4 Blood is everything that Left 4 Dead 3 would have been if it would have been made by Valve and was called Left 4 Dead 3. It is literally, like, it's so much fun. The gameplay is really smooth. The characters are good.
I agree with all of these.
I mean, it definitely, it was probably as good as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. What do you think of the card system? Because I feel like that's like the number one thing to talk about.
I don't mind it. Like, I could do without it, but just mainly because, like, I was so used to playing Left 4 Dead where you would just, like, straight up just go in there and run and gun.
Yeah.
But, like,
see,
it's an interesting spin on stuff.
Yeah. See, I like the card system because the one thing I always like in these games, it's like, I want, like, a different experience, or, like, I like gameplay, or, like, replayability. That's what I was looking for. I like replayability, and that card system literally has so much replayability.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, like, that's why I like it a lot. And you can make some pretty good builds. Like, my shotgun build I ran most of the time was busted.
Yeah.
I literally murked the Abomination at some of those moments. So I
What was that one build that you had where you had like 12 or 13 stamina bars?
Oh yeah, that was like my melee build. Literally, I forget what cards I used, but I had so much stamina and three things actually. Every time I hit a zombie, I would gain health. Every time I would hit a zombie, my swing speed would increase, and every time I hit a zombie, my stamina would regen. So I literally became a literal unstoppable force, and literally a whole horde of zombies would come at me. I would just start swinging, and I would swing as fast as like the Flash would. It's so good. That was like that's my. I might run that build next time we play because that build is so much fun.
We need to do another playthrough of that game on a higher difficulty.
Yeah, they're adding another difficulty above Nightmare.
Are you serious?
Deadass. Like they said, yeah, we're adding another difficulty, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like Nightmare is terrible. Like I don't know what it's even called, like hell or something. I don't even know what they'll call it, but yeah. Unless they're adding another difficulty, like after Recruit or after Veteran or something.
Or yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if you gave a rating to the game, what would your rating be?
And
if you want to, you can compare them to like the other Left 4 Dead games because that's its like predecessors and stuff.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 8 out of 10 for me too.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good. I most of the time when people are saying like it's bad, I actually like, why do you think it's bad?
Yeah,
and then like they mostly say like something like that doesn't make sense or whatever. I don't know. But that's about it for Back 4 Blood. We just want to talk about that for a little bit. Next up, we have. It's every year we have to have a new one of these. It's its annual release. We got our next Call of Duty game called COD Vanguard. Now, I am not a fan of this game. Played the beta, and I had some pretty shitty things to say about it. And I only know one person that has it, and that's the same person we talked to earlier, and that was Jordan Johnson. And
I'll just say, Call of Duty Cold War may have just been the last Call of Duty that I'll ever play.
Okay, well,
I'm
not gonna say that because it's probably not for me. But
I'm just like, unless they bring something out that like blows me away.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like every October, November, I'm just like, here we go, Call of Duty again.
Yeah, but I heard. I mean, campaign is always good. I don't see why a campaign is never good.
Yeah.
So I actually heard multiplayer is good, which surprises me because I played the beta and I hated every second I played the game.
Well, I mean, in the game's defense, though, the beta is never like.
Now, yeah. I know, because the beta is never like the final version of the game. But this is the thing: every time I played a Call of Duty beta, I think the beta is more fun than the actual game.
Oh, really?
I thought Cold War's beta was better than Cold War's multiplayer now. And that's not including zombies, because like I didn't get to play zombies, and I still think zombies is pretty good in that game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another Call of Duty beta that I was like pretty happy about. Black Ops 3 was pretty good from when I remember playing it. And I don't know. That's always how I always seen it, and I don't know. But I heard zombies is very bad in this game.
Really?
Bad as in there is no content. Like,
really?
Literally, you can experience all those zombies in the matter of 30 minutes. And that's it. There's nothing new.
Jeez.
So, yeah, that's pretty bad. So, but whatever. I'll have to play it when it goes on free trial. So, Jordan, I've been talking to Jordan this morning, and he says, like, yo, the multiplayer actually smacks. And I'm like, no. But I'll have to try it when it goes free trial, and I'll tell you what you guys think about it.
There's another game that's coming out this month that we're going to talk about here soon that...
Yeah, I got all these.
I'm going to be putting a lot more time into, even if I were to get Call of Duty.
I mean, there's only two games I'm thinking about, and it's either the one I'm talking about next or the one that's very end. But our next two games, because these games both came out on the same day, we have Forza Horizon 5 and Jurassic World Evolution 2 that came out on November 9th. Now, I'll let you talk about Forza 5 because I don't have it.
Yes, Forza Horizon 5 is easily. I'm just gonna say it. It's probably the best racing game ever made.
There's a lot of racing games out there, though.
It is a 10 out of 10 easily. It is graphically beautiful. The Mexico scene is like really awesome. The gameplay,
it's in Mexico.
Yeah, the gameplay is so smooth, and the driving just feels so like natural, and like they tuned up the turning. Like the turning's not as wonky. Like the turning got wonky.
You talking about the drifting?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I heard the drifting is really good in this game.
The drifting is like superior. Turning in general is a lot more smooth than it used to be. It's really, really awesome. Like you need to get it, Ben.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might wait till it goes on sale because I'm trying to save money and stuff over here. But the only Forza games I've ever played was the first one and the second one, and those games were both amazing. Yeah, so I'm assuming 3, 4, and especially 5 is incredible. So I might wait a little bit and then get 5. So, and then the other game we got, which I also haven't played this game, but I played the first one, and that's Jurassic World Evolution. Now listen, these guys in the first game, I don't know how they made a tycoon game with dinosaurs. So much fun, but I played this game for like weeks.
Yeah,
it's so much fun, and it's ridiculous. Like I don't know how it's fun, but it is. And the second one had just so much more, just more stuff. Fixed a lot of the dumb stuff that was in the first game, but I'm definitely gonna get this game later. I'm surprised they made a second one so soon because I didn't know if the first one did good or not. But the first one almost never went on sale, and if it did, it was only like $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
So, and I think I got mine for like $40, and I was like, "Yep, I'm getting it." And yeah, the first one was a lot of fun. There's like a challenge mode that you can do after you beat the game. Oh, so in the original game, or in the first one, I mean, you got like 5 islands. So you start off with the first one, which is like the basic island, and then each island added something different.
Okay.
So like the second island always had a really fucked up terrain, so it was kind of weird to make stuff. Yeah. The second one was an island that was a park, but went bankrupt, so you had to bring it back from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Then the third one was the smallest island you could ever get. And it was so hard to do. It was so hard to make that park functional.
Yeah, it sounds just like Planet Coaster.
Yeah, it probably has a lot of similarities to Planet Coaster. And then the last park was the Sandbox Park, which was Isla Nublar, which is where the first movie takes place.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that whole map, like, you can make your own park there and everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they have a sandbox mode where you can go on each island and make your own. And then the challenge mode, which I mentioned, there's like, it like changes, like, things are more expensive, taxes are more, dinosaurs need more requirements, and all that stuff. And I was doing it on the hardest difficulty on the first island.
Yeah.
And I got so far, and your objective is to get to 5 stars on your park.
Uh-huh.
And I was probably like at 4 stars or something. And every single time I made progress, something would happen. So one of the main things that happens is, like, there's like small stuff, like hackers can hack your park and make your power go out and all this stuff. Yeah. And one of the main things is natural disasters happen, and fucking tornadoes are the worst thing to ever exist in that game. I swear. Tornado will come in, your fucking T-Rex breaks out because he hates wind, your Velociraptors break out because they're freaking out, and like all hell breaks loose. You finally fix everything, get all the dinosaurs back in their place, and then another fucking tornado will come in and break all your shit again. I hated it, but the game is amazing. I got really pissed because of that, but I still love the game, and I know the second one's really good, so I can't wait to play it. And I heard it doing really good, so
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff. Next up we have, I think this came out 2 days ago, actually. Yeah. So next we have the Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy remastered, which came out November 11th. So 2 days ago. Which this includes.
I heard
GTA
they're
3.
really, really good.
Yeah. So it includes GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas, which were like all like PlayStation 2, I think. So pretty good graphics. They're not GTA 5 graphics. For some reason, people were thinking they were going to be GTA 5 graphics. That literally would have took them years to make.
Yeah.
And they even said they wanted to keep the style of the old game. So it's like the style of the old games, but just more polished, cleaner, and it just looks good. So when I saw a couple people playing it, I want to get it when, like I said, when it goes on sale. Because I'm spending $60 on. I like Vice City. I think that's my favorite GTA of those back then. Because I think Vice City's aesthetic was pretty cool. But I think I only played a little bit 3, and I of course beaten San Andreas. So pretty cool stuff. That's the first ever remaster. Now, if we can get Red Dead Redemption remastered, holy, I'm buying that day one. I love Red Dead Redemption, especially the first one. Everybody's be sleeping on the first one, but that's my favorite.
I never played the second.
They're good. The first one is really. I think the first one's still like the second one does a lot better, but the story I like the first one better, especially the main character.
Yeah.
But everybody says like the second one's like the best video game out there, which I mean it's pretty damn good, but it's not. I don't think it's the best.
Yeah.
Now we got on November 19th we have Battlefield 2042. And I didn't know about this. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is the remasters of the original Diamond and Pearl. Which I don't remember. I don't remember what generation that is of games.
I don't either.
But I don't know. But I know it's the remastered, and that's pretty cool stuff because it's always cool to see the remastered. Now I know we're gonna get Battlefield 2042.
Yep.
I still haven't pre-ordered.
You need to pre-order that.
I know. I'm excited for it. I'm not saying I'm not excited for it. I'm just like, there's so much shit going on for gaming for me right now. So I'm busy doing stuff. I literally just bought 2 games yesterday, old games that went on sale. So like for both of them, it was $10, and it was the Darkness and the Darkness 2 because I remember playing the demo a long time ago, and I've always wanted to play those games, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting stuff. But I'm pretty busy. I still need to beat some other games. So, but I know I will pre-order it if I remember to pre-order it before. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I think that game's gonna be cool with friends. All right, that's about it for our new releases and also Black for Blood that also came out last month. Now, Trent.
Yeah.
About that icebreaker question.
Yes.
There was one location I was thinking of that I wouldn't want to go to. That's Raccoon City.
And there was a place that I was thinking that I wouldn't want to go to either.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Now, I wouldn't survive Raccoon City, but I think I would have a chance in Silent Hill.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
It's tough.
I don't know. We'll have to discuss that in our versus round right here coming up. Resident Evil versus Silent Hill, baby! Welcome to the versus battle of Resident Evil and Silent Hill segment that we have here. So, we are both, well, I've only played Silent Hill 2. I've played most of the Resident Evil games besides, like, 4, which is the only one you care about.
Listen, before we even start this discussion, you cannot judge Silent Hill, or not Silent Hill, you cannot judge Resident Evil 4 until you sit down with me sometime and you play the entire game. then you can judge it.
I'm just saying, my first experience with it wasn't good, but I'll give it another chance.
Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil game. Down.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
You haven't even scratched the surface.
I know, but like Resident Evil 2 got a special place in my heart. But let's
we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, save that for another time. So like, I've only played Silent Hill 2. I think you've also only played Silent Hill 2.
I've played 2. I've played The Room. I've played Downpour. And that's it. Okay,
so there is more than, like... I knew there was, like, 4, because I remember one called The Room. But I didn't know.
Silent Hill The Room is 4. It's,
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, which is The Room. And then there's Downpour, Homecoming, Shattered Memories. I think I'm missing one.
Okay, so there's a good bit. Like
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this discussion, we'll only be comparing what we said 1 and then 2.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Let's do Resident Evil 1 and Silent Hill 2.
I mean, it would make more sense to do Silent Hill 1, but we've never played it, and we can't even play it.
No.
But we can play 3 whenever we watch about 1. So, I mean, I would want to compare Resident Evil 2, but I would be very biased if we did that, so I'm glad we're doing 1.
Which is why I said we'll do 1.
I'm still going to mention about 2 and 3, I'm just saying. So, how we're going to do this is that we're going to run through the story we'll do Resident Evil first. We're going to run through the story, the characters, visuals, gameplay, and then our overall opinions, and then we're going to repeat that with Silent Hill 2. So, that's how we're going to do this. So, alright. So, the story of Resident Evil, and now let's only talk about the first one, even though I think the second one's better, but... So, the first one, you're going to have to help me with this one, because I've played the first one, but it's been a good bit, and I think I know the story of Resident Evil like good. Like I know I'm pretty good, but there's some stuff I forget. So
it's been a long time since I played the first one too. So I remember the general story, but I don't remember everything.
Yeah. So the first one happens at the mansion.
Yeah.
Why do they go there again? If you remember. I forget. Don't they investigate the hills or something?
Yeah,
that's where the mansion is.
Well, they were looking for something, and they were chased into the mansion.
Yeah. And
they basically used the mansion as like they were basically like holding out there.
Like the headquarters.
Yeah, it's kind of. But the mansion was like overrun. Plus, they ran into like the mansion was actually like a place that they could find a lot of information from.
Yeah. So the story goes is that like a STARS operation team from like a special police force goes into these hills to find something. We forget, and they get chased into this mansion. Now, the 3 characters... Or no, is it 4? I think it's 4 characters that run in there, which is Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine,
Wesker,
and then there was the other guy, Brad or something. Or not Brad.
He's the one that was he the one that got eaten by the first zombie?
No, there's the guy that hangs out with Jill, and he has the freaking Magnum.
Oh, yeah. I forget his name.
But that guy, he's the one that goes, "You almost became a Jill sandwich."
Yeah.
But they go in, and I think they, like, investigate the place, and Wesker goes on himself, and then this is where you get to choose either Chris Redfield or Jill. And now, I know, like, this mansion was the... What's this? I can't remember the main guy that runs Umbrella, but I'm pretty sure it's his mansion. Or something.
I can't remember.
But it's a mansion that the Umbrella Corporation uses for their experiments and stuff, because I think that happens later too. But these characters, Chris Redfield and Jill, go through and they find out more about the Umbrella Corporation that making bioweapons, and they find all these weird ass creatures like a freaking giant snake.
Yeah.
And isn't there a giant spider too?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's something else later. There's a bunch of creepy shit in this place.
In the remake, they added the Lisa thing.
Yeah, I remember that. There was like this creature called Lisa.
That wasn't in the original game. That was only in the Xbox One and like PS4 remake.
Yeah, but the main enemies are the zombies that come out, and I remember that first scene where you first find the first zombie and he like churns his head. That scene's pretty freaking creepy. I won't lie. Especially in the original, that it was pretty damn creepy. I won't lie. So it's pretty good, and after a while they find out what's going on, and it's kind of bad that we're doing Resident Evil 1 because I think that's the one I remember the least because I haven't played it in so long. But I know there's like that Tyrant, which is like they're like one of their best bioweapons that Umbrella makes.
The OG Tyrant.
Yeah, the OG Tyrant. That's the one you have as a pop figure, right?
Yeah, the one that literally gave us like one of the best scenes across all video games ever in the original.
Yeah, and then
the awful voiceovers, like can't kill me.
yeah, you can't kill me. Bah, bah, bah. That video is so funny. But then, just Chris and Jill find out about what's going on. We did a really shitty recap of the story, but we haven't played it, or haven't played it in a long time.
It's been a while, but like you're questioning us, we have played it, yes, and we do.
Yeah, we know.
We do know. We just might need a
recap,
a refresher.
So the story is and at least in the first game, the story is a little bit not as confusing as it gets later, especially in like after like the first three and like this connection between 1 and 2. But we're not talking about, or not 1 and 2, 2 and 3. But we're not talking about that. So next we have the characters. So we'll just talk about like the main ones, which is like Wesker, Jill, and Chris. So like, Chris is like the boy. He is like one of the main characters. He's like in every Resident Evil, no matter what. I swear.
He's in 1 and 5 and 6.
He's also in. We're not talking about it, but he's also in Code Veronica. I just haven't gone that far. But he is in it. I know that. He's in 1, 5, 6. He's in 7 at the end.
The end of 7 and the end of 8, right?
Well, he's actually throughout of 8 because you see him at the beginning, and
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
You do play as him in 8 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty big character in the series. So, and it's cool to see like his first appearance in this game and like how much of like he's not a rookie, but like how much inexperienced he is compared to what he is later. He's like a secret agent basically in later games.
Yeah.
And then there's Jill, which also becomes a pretty cool character later. She takes the entire spotlight of 3, so that's my favorite version of her is 3. But she's also pretty basic in the first game.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because like these games came out so long, so like the characters are really basic, and that was back when like games didn't have like the most like interesting stories.
Yeah.
And then there's Wesker. I don't know much about Wesker because I didn't fully play 5 and stuff. So I don't know like everything about Wesker, but I do like him. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah, Wesker's cool.
I know, doesn't he, like, he gets powers later, doesn't he I think he gets those from, like, the T-Virus, but, like, a small...
In 5 he does, and then you kill him in 5.
Yeah, I remember, because I remember the meme about Chris punching a boulder.
Yeah.
Professional punching boulder, man.
Yeah.
But the characters are pretty good. I especially like later down the line when the world starts to open up more, like that gaming world starts to open up. Like we get Leon as Kennedy, Claire Redfield, um, just a bunch of really good characters. And I know we're both fans of Leon.
Yep.
I'm more of a fan of Leon for Resident Evil 2 and Year 4, but
Yeah, we know.
I still like him in 4, but I liked especially the remastered. I like what they did with Leon. I like his personality and stuff. So, and then we got the visuals, and now we'll only talk about the original. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to talk about visuals, especially these older games, because it's like they're kind of stuck in their time.
I mean, obviously, yeah, the original, like the graphics sucked, but the remake looks amazing.
Yeah, the remake looks incredible. The one thing that I think the reason why I wrote this down was because the number one thing that makes these older games honestly a lot scarier and creative is the creatures. The fact that they have less visuals to work with and they have to make these weird looking ass creatures and they look more terrifying half the time than creatures we see in modern day is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember their names. Was there any lickers in the first one? I don't think there was.
I don't believe the hunters were in the first one though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The hunters, those things look creepy as all hell. Especially the concept art they came out with those.
Those green, big green looking things.
Yeah, like I don't even know what those are. I forget. They explain. I think they're like reptiles or something. I don't know. But they're weird. I definitely not a fan of those guys. Especially they come back in 3 and those in the remastered, they're even more annoying. But I would say they did a pretty damn good job, especially back in the day. And we said the remaster looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it does.
And then gameplay. So both of these games play very similarly, but I don't know. I always like these old type of like I don't even know how you describe them. Like these old like survival, I guess, type of games with puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like you find documents to learn like what's going on and stuff. I always thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they did pretty good because that was like one of the first ever games like that. Well, like the still cameras and going into like rooms and stuff.
It pretty much pioneered like survival horror.
Yeah. Literally like the start of like all these survival horror games that came out.
Yeah.
I mean, there was games before that, but that was kind of like one of the peaks.
Yeah.
And then just like gameplay was pretty simple. So like if you've played the original Resident Evil, it's nothing like to talk about for very long. Like it's very simplified and
yeah, it's very
easy to understand.
Really is like a very basic story.
Yeah.
Very linear and straightforward.
Yeah, later it gets like way more complicated and interesting, but we're talking about PlayStation 1 and like those games, so it's kind of basic. But that, I mean, still good. Like classic. Like there's no way it's not.
Sure.
I guess that also goes into our opinions, like just the overall what we think of Resident Evil. And like I said, it's a classic. There's no way like it's not one of the best games ever created.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah, I would say one of the best zombie games series. More based off survival than like other games where it's like Dead Rising. I mean, the first Dead Rising was more about survival, but like became more funny and like more fun.
Dead Rising was. I think Dead Rising is just in a league of its own.
Yeah.
Dead Rising is just Dead Rising.
It's just like, let's have fun. I mean, the first game was more like serious, but like you can already tell in the second game it was more about like let's just have some fun.
Rest in peace, Brad.
Rest in peace, Brad.
Yeah.
Freaking.
He was literally my favorite character, and then he died.
Yeah. Man's ashy head. Nah. But That's for another topic. We might do a topic someday about more of Dead Rising stuff because that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely great.
But just overall opinions, just Resident Evil pretty good. Like, one of the best. And I think Resident Evil 2 is the best, and you think Resident Evil 4 is the best. And we'll find out someday which one's better. Well, I will.
Me
Probably
and a
still
lot
be-
of these people say that 4 is the best.
I don't know. Like, I always thought Resident Evil as, like I like the enemies of 4, and I like each Resident Evil does, like, a new, like, bioweapon and stuff, but I always will think that zombies belong in Resident Evil. That's why I like the first 3 so much.
I mean, 4, they're not. I mean, they're not zombies, but they are zombies at the same time.
Yeah, they're like more advanced. Like
they're still functional, but like they're just really sick.
Yeah, I still like it though. I still like the different diseases and stuff.
They're also in a dang cult.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go into Silent Hill. So I only played the second one, so that's where I'm getting all my information. You can talk about the other ones too if you want to, because
I think. Well, I mean, I'll just say I think Downpour gets too much hate. I actually enjoyed Downpour. And
you'll have to tell me sometime what that one's like and like what's it about and stuff, because I don't know anything. The only thing I know is that 1 and 3 are connected and 2 is by itself.
Yeah.
That's why we played 2, because it was okay to play that one instead of the first one. So, the story of the second one deals with James Sunderland. We're going to do a way better story segment for Silent Hill because we just played it.
We just played this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and also, like, it's not a lot simpler, but it's like, yeah, we just played it, so it's going to be easier. But, yeah, deals with a guy named James Sunderland who gets a letter from his dead wife saying, like, yo, I'm in this place called Silent Hill. Like, get over here. And he's like, you bet. So he heads over to Silent Hill to find his dead wife, and, like, a bunch of crazy shit starts happening when he's in this place. And then your whole goal is to, like, just get through to find your wife, and that's about it. Like, you're just trying to get to your wife and get out of here.
And then when you find her...
Yeah, when you find her...
She's still dead.
Yeah, she's, like, just...
But it's literally, it's literally the town of Silent Hill just being Silent Hill.
Being a dick.
Yeah. Just being like, hey, come to our town so we can kill you.
Yeah, and each game is like a different story besides 1 and 3, which are connected. So it's pretty cool. I like that concept a lot, especially. And when you go throughout, you find more about like what's going on and like why are all these things happening and stuff. So we have characters to talk about, but the only really one I can really talk about is James, because I don't think the other ones get enough screen time, or not screen time like it's a movie, enough time to like develop. I guess I forget her name, but the woman that looks like his wife, but it's not.
What was his wife's name again? I forget. Mary.
Mary, yeah.
And then Maria.
Yeah.
So
Maria. Girl. Yeah, Maria, she's kind of cool. Like I said, we don't really get to know much more about them. Like, we don't know why she's there and stuff, but... And
then there was that other girl you meet early on, the one that she gives her knife. You can see the knife.
Oh, yeah.
Back.
Yo, your mic's fucked up.
Good now?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that girl, I forget her name, but the knife that I really wanted to look at to get the bad ending.
The knife that you're not supposed to inspect.
That I really wanted to inspect because you told me
not examine.
Yeah.
You kept making jokes about that the whole time. Oh, I'm going to examine the knife.
Yeah, every time we got stuck, I was like, wait, the knife. But yeah, she's very mysterious, and then you find out more about her. So like
Yeah.
each character is like has their
No,
own
that-
like weird backstory to why they're there.
There's
what
that
they
fat
did.
guy.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah.
Freaking the first thing you see of him, he's puking in a freaking toilet, and it sounds so disgusting.
All you hear is like.
Yeah, and then you hear like like the puke dripping in the toilet. It's so nasty. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, he was there. It was just cool to see like why they all came to the place, and they all were like all fucked up people. Besides Mary, which we don't, or Murray, I mean, which we don't get to know too much about. What's that little girl that I really wanted to, in quotes, really wanted to shoot because she was pissing me off?
I forget what her name was.
But there's like this little girl that's also there, and she's like, she has a connection with Mary, which is your wife. So like she's interesting, but she fucks you over in like so many instances. I really want. Wait, what?
Laura,
yeah. Well, she fucks you over in so many instances. I really wanted to shoot her, which sounds bad, but like the first thing she like, you go to grab a key and then she like stomps your feet or something, or stomps your hand.
she kicks it out of the way so you can't reach it.
Yeah, and I was like, you bitch, I need that. And I'm like, next time I shoot you. But it was just, I mean, it was just funny because it was like all this stuff was happening, but it was pretty cool. Like she had a good relationship with Mary and all this stuff. So it was cool to see like how that related to you. And then I think in the end, he like leaves with you if you get the good ending. Yeah. At least I think of it. So
well, depending on what ending you get.
Yeah, like I said, like the best possible ending. I'm pretty sure she leaves with you. So
yeah, and that's the ending we got.
Yeah. So, but it's pretty cool. I like the characters. I really like James. I just think the voice acting. But this is for its time, so I'm not gonna get mad at it. But the voice acting got a little interesting.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. There was one line we kept laughing at. I can't remember now.
I forget.
But I remember there was a line that James said, and we were like, oh no, I remember. It was every time we tried to inspect something, it was like, it's just a board of posters. Nothing useful here. No,
like the
that's what we kept laughing at.
See, I missed that in games. Like, Silent Hill and Resident Evil were so good about that. Like, inspecting things, and they had like the most ridiculous descriptions for stuff like there's nothing interesting here on the bookshelf.
Or like oh yeah, like there's like you inspect the bookshelf and he's like, I don't have time to read all this.
Yeah. There's no use for this.
Yeah, because now in Resident Evil games and stuff, like it tells you like where like things to pick up and stuff. Like you don't inspect it. I mean, there's still like lockers and stuff you can inspect. And, like there's nothing in it, but it doesn't give you like the text.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites was in the original Resident Evil when you're like down in the basement and you're like there's like these sinks, and if you inspect the sinks, they're like the sinks are crawling with maggots.
Oh my god!
I love that one.
Oh, that's disgusting. But yeah, so that's about it for the characters and stuff, and what we missed. The visuals. This will probably be just as short as the Resident Evil because they're about the same. They're a little bit better. I won't lie. They're a little bit better, but same thing. Like the characters are the creatures designs that they had to come up with. Like those mannequins. Oh yeah, the main villains are mannequins, which later you find out why they're mannequins. So it takes a lot of backstory to figure out why.
Yeah, like the mannequins, the nurses.
They represent like tragedies and stuff that happen to the person.
That's the thing about Silent Hill. Like every enemy is like based off of
what happens in your life.
The characters, like whoever's there, it bases its enemies off of your like worst fears and tragedies.
Yeah, like the one boss fight was what are they called again?
The abstract daddy.
Yeah, so there's the character with the knife that we talked about earlier. She's like in this room, and there's like this weird creature called the abstract daddy. And what she sees is not the same thing as we see. So she might see something completely different and completely horrifying compared to what we see.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's cool like that each person has a different experience, a different thing. So it's like, it's cool to like, oh, what does this look like compared to what they see and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And then there's Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Which
literally the greatest, I'm going to say this, the greatest villain of any horror game ever.
I don't know about that with Chief. I would have to say.
I'm just saying that.
I'm more of a Resident Evil person, but I wouldn't even say the Resident Evil characters are like the best in horror. If I would have to say, Nemesis would be like the most terrifying thing. If you were in a fight versus Nemesis or Pyramid Head, which one would you have a better chance against?
Well,
Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it. But like, I mean, that's two different scenarios. Like Pyramid Head, I forget what Pyramid Head is the manifest of. Isn't it like James like depression or something?
Yeah, it has something to do with like, I forget, but
it's some type of emotion that James has.
Pretty deep. But then again, every that game has a really deep meaning.
Yeah. So like, and then Nemesis is like a bioweapon, so it's kind of different.
Yeah.
Like, but he's still pretty cool. He's definitely like, I remember the first time you're supposed to see him, I completely missed it, and I was like, oh shit, wait, there was something down that hallway that wasn't there before. Yeah. And I went back and he wasn't even there. So I never got to see him for the first time until I saw that freaking sex scene that was with the mannequins.
where he was doing things to the mannequins.
He was doing very inappropriate things to said mannequins. But that was my first instance, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? So, but he's still pretty cool, still pretty menacing. I remember the first time you have to fight him, I kept avoiding him and then bonking him in the head with the main weapon. It made like a really loud, like hollow sound effect.
Yeah.
But pretty cool. Still, visuals were like better than Resident Evil, at least by a little bit. But it did come out later, and it also was pretty cool designs for characters. Like runs about the same as Resident Evil. You mentioned about like the whole text thing, which I think that text stuff happens way more in Silent Hill than it ever does in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was to go to the locked doors and just keep pressing A, hoping that it would open.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, every time you press the A button. That was like my favorite part. But yeah, the gameplay runs about the same. There's a lot more puzzles, I think, in Silent Hill than there was in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a good bit in Resident Evil, but like the puzzles were like pretty creative. Like remember the one hatch you forgot to open, or you forgot how to open, but I figured it out like right away. And I was completely guessing. It was like you had to melt the wax and then put the handle in the wax and then put it on the thing. And you were like, wow, I can't believe you figured that out like by yourself. And because you didn't even remember how to do it. And I was like, let's go, buggers.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty similar. There's a lot more combat in Silent Hill than there is in Resident Evil. Like,
yeah,
especially against like the enemies and stuff. Because like I don't like in Resident Evil, I mostly like avoid every enemy, and I tried to do that in this game, and sometimes I would get hit too. Yeah. I think the most I would enemies was when we were against the nurses, because those guys do so much damage.
Yeah.
It
was funny whenever the abstract daddies became like a normal enemy at the end. And you were like running through and you were like...
Oh yeah, so like... I was gonna say about our overall opinions, and the two things I was gonna mention was that one room we went in, the huge ass room of just nothing besides that one stand, and all you heard was footsteps. Yeah, all you
Yeah.
heard was footsteps, and if you like, we didn't even have a headset on. We were just playing it through the TV, and I was freaking out. I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And I just start running. I'm like, I'm trying to get away because I don't want to get hit or anything. But there was nothing there. It was just the sound effect.
That was
And,
really creepy.
yeah, and then we put on headsets to see what it would sound like through a headset, and it sounded like it was right beside you.
It was bad.
Yeah, the most of the time when you put like footsteps and stuff in video games, like that's what freaks me out because I feel like it's right beside me. But yet it's not half the damn time.
Yeah.
And then the other time was with the Abstract Daddies. I walked to a door, and all you heard, there was two, and all you heard was loud ass footsteps.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out because I was trying to figure out how close they were, but like I couldn't figure it out because of how loud. And then by the time I figured it out, they were right in front of me. And then I screamed. I was like, "Oh!" Like I was like, "Ah!" So, but yeah, Silent Hill and Resident Evil play very similarly, but I like them both. I really do. I like the I like with Resident Evil, like with all the different diseases and stuff, especially what they started doing now. Because like before, it was with the T virus that made like zombies, and then they made bioweapons, and then this 4 and 5 was with the Las Plagas, which is like a parasite.
Yeah.
And then 7 and 8 is now dealing with the mold, which is like, I don't even know what you would describe it as, but it's weird. It's like a symbiote, but not really.
Yeah, so overall, I would have to say, I mean, Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil both are very good in their own ways.
Mm.
It's kind of hard, but
yeah,
I personally would probably say Silent Hill 2 over Resident Evil.
If we're just doing Resident Evil 1 or in Silent Hill, I would also say Silent Hill, but that's also because I remember more of Silent Hill. I think if I went back and played Resident Evil, I would probably remember more. But if we were talking about the entire series, it's not even a question for me that it would be Resident Evil.
Well,
but for these only two,
my favorite game out of all the Resident Evils and all the Silent Hills that I've played is Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mine's 2. Both the original and the remastered. Because I like them both.
Speaking of Resident Evil 4, they need to bring out that remake.
Well, yeah, I remember I was thinking about that a couple days ago, and that remake, I don't know if this is what it became, but it might have became that VR game.
That better not be their version of the remake. I want Resident Evil 4 to be made like they did for the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes.
Yeah, see, if it was like that, I would for sure be playing it, buying it, and stuff. So, I just thought of another cool like little segment would be the music for both Resident Evil and Silent Hill. They're pretty good. Yeah. Especially Silent Hill got some pretty screwed out music in some of those areas. Pretty good music. But I was going to say Resident Evil probably tops them with the music because like especially like with the safe rooms. That's the one thing I didn't like about Silent Hill. There was no safe room music.
I don't know. I think there's something about Silent Hill's music that just gives it that extra level of like freakiness.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think I would have to say Silent Hill's music.
Like 1 and 2 or Resident Evil 1 versus Silent Hill 2, I would say Silent Hill. I don't know. I can't remember some of the music for Resident Evil. But like Resident Evil 2's music, I love a lot. I even bought the pack for the remake to play the old music because I thought it was way better than what they came up with.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill adds like more of an atmosphere music, while like Resident Evil is like more like just trying to be like really good and like
Mm-hmm.
for its time. I especially like the safer music of 2 and 3 because I think I told you this.
So good.
Resident Evil 2's safer music makes you feel like you're trapped and like you're stuck in this place.
It makes you feel safe, but at the same time you feel insecure.
Yeah, and then like Resident Evil 3's was like you have this entire city to escape, but you still can't find an exit.
Yeah.
Like that's what I like. That's why I like that each of the safer musics is like different in their own ways. I forget what One's is, but One's is pretty good too.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't remembered which one we could go with. I guess we did say like because I have which game does better, and we already said why, and then the next one was which one we side with more. Which if it's RE1 versus Silent Hill 2, we both went with Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, I would say overall the champion of this is Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, but if it was overall Resident Evil, we would both know Resident Evil would win. So, but I still love both games.
I don't know.
You think overall Silent Hill, like throughout the entire franchise, Resident Evil or Silent Hill?
If you're saying which franchise is better? Ooh,
in your opinion, obviously.
I'm just going based off of for pure like horror, I would have to give it to Silent Hill.
Yeah, I could see it. Especially just for horror. I think overall for me it would be Resident Evil, but I think Silent Hill is scarier.
Yeah.
Because it has a much more like creative like concept than Resident Evil does. I mean, Resident Evil is creative. I'm not gonna say it's not, but like the fact that like all these creatures in Silent Hill manifest into like all the bad things that happen in your life and stuff, like that's cool. And they can come up with some really cool stuff. I think the only thing about it is that it can only be set in Silent Hill, or at least that's what I would expect it to only be set in. Like it can't be set anywhere else.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, I've only played the second one, so I can't really say, I can't be 100% about that, but...
Kind of.
And then Resident Evil is, like, all over the world.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, Resident Evil versus Silent Hill. We both agree that in this Resident Evil 1 versus Silent Hill, or Resident Evil 1 versus Silent Hill 2, yeah. We think Silent Hill 2 was better, but overall... And horror, we say Silent Hill is better, but I overall think Resident Evil for me is better. And I don't know how you feel about that. I'm pretty sure you said, I know you said horror, Silent Hill, but Resident Evil, I think you said overall.
Resident Evil 4 is the best game out of all of those games. I mean, it's really tough for me to say that though, because Silent Hill 2 is arguably the best horror game of all time, but so is Resident Evil 4.
Now, see, I don't think it was the best horror game.
The thing about Resident Evil 4 is a lot of people say that it's not a horror game, or it's not a survival horror because it's not even scary, which, to be fair, like, the scariest part about Resident Evil 4 is those freaking regenerators.
I do know about those guys. Those guys
I hate the regenerators. Yeah. But, I mean, no, it's not. It's really not all that of a scary game. It's just story. The story is so good. It pulls you in. The gameplay can be a little tanky at sometimes, but, I mean, that's just Resident Evil.
See, I like those. I like tank controls in games like that. I couldn't do it in Silent Hill when we played it, but like when I'm playing, right now I'm playing Code Veronica, and I'm digging it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but it's tough for me to pick between Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil 4. See, that's the one that I would have compared to Silent Hill 2 if you had actually played Resident Evil 4 in its entirety, but
yeah, but Resident Evil 4 plays so much differently than Silent Hill 2. That's why I was saying we should do 1, 2, and 3 because those all play similarly. But yeah, that's about it. for our main topic. So we got a little bit of subtopic to talk about. sub. Um, so, and we're just gonna do. This one will probably be short, but we'll do comparing Nintendo to the likes of Sony and Microsoft.
Okay. So, Nintendo, at one point...
Yeah, so, wait, what's our opinions on Nintendo? How about that?
At one point...
Okay, go ahead.
At one point, Nintendo was the king of everything video game. Like, there was nothing other than Nintendo for the longest time. Like, Nintendo was at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
Or at the top of the game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Then, I mean, even when the PS1 came out, Nintendo was still, like, they had the N64 and all that, and the N64 was, like, unbelievably popular, and it was a huge success. And keep in mind, this was also way back when video games were first, like, starting to become really popular, and they were still, like, really family-oriented type stuff, like Mario and stuff like that, were, like, games that, like, the entire family could sit down and play, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like rated E for everyone.
Yeah. And then enter Sony, they bring in the PlayStation 1.
And it's just a fucking...
Nintendo is still at the top of the game. But then they bring in the PlayStation 2. Which...
Wait, real quick. I want to mention one thing about the PlayStation. So I remember there was a convention talking about these new consoles, and what was the competitor to the PlayStation from Nintendo? Was it the 64? Or is it the GameCube?
It was the N64.
64. Yeah. So Nintendo goes up, talks about the Nintendo 64 and whatever price it was, I forget. The only thing PlayStation did was they came up and they said, like, the PlayStation's price, and it was like $150 cheaper. That's all they said. They just said the price and left.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought that was just badass. They're just like, yo, our console's cheaper. Just get ours.
Yeah.
So, alright, and you're talking about the PlayStation 2?
Yeah, then the PlayStation 2 comes out, and the PlayStation 2 is arguably the best gaming console of all time. My personal opinion, the Xbox 360 is the best console ever. But
and I stand by that.
Man, I don't know. It's really tough because the PS2 was like, I still to this day play my PS2. Like, I have an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5, and I still play my PlayStation 2. Like,
yeah,
it's just, I love that console so much.
It was funny. That's how we thought we were going to play Silent Hill, was on the original PlayStation 2, which would have been pretty cool, but we played the HD version.
The remaster, because we could not get an original copy. But
no, but it's all good.
Okay, so yeah, the PlayStation 2 comes in. It's like literally the best-selling console of all time. I think, is it still the best-selling console of all time?
I think... I can look it up. I think it might have gotten overthrown, though. But probably not. I don't know. I have to look it up. Nope, it's still the best one.
Is it? That's what I thought.
Actually, top 3 are all PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It's winning by, like, almost, like, I think 35 million units. Because PlayStation 2 is 15 million, or 115 million, and the PlayStation 2 is 157 million.
Wow.
So, yeah, still the best.
But yeah, you have the PlayStation 2 then at the time, but then that's also when the GameCube came out, which is, in my opinion, the best console that Nintendo has ever made. I also still play the GameCube occasionally. Then the OG Xbox comes out. You
With
have
The Rock.
the
To announce it.
page promoting your Xbox, so like people are gonna buy it, obviously.
Mhm.
And yeah, the OG Xbox was great. I mean, you had Halo, which was its biggest, like,
Biggest selling point.
Halo made Xbox, essentially.
Yeah.
Halo was like the selling point for the Xbox. Like, people bought the Xbox to play Halo because they heard how good it was.
Yeah.
I still to this day haven't played any Halos, but I need. I've always been a Gears of War guy, which I need to.
It's
I need
still
to
Xbox.
sit down and play. Yeah, I need to sit down and play the Halos someday. But I mean, I do. I know they're good. Like,
Yeah. And then
but
after that, it became just like that.
So-
Those are the three amigos. Of
that
gaming.
was that at that time they were all about equal, I would say. Then the PlayStation 2 really took off, like, with the more games that came out for it. The PlayStation 2 started to, like, really take off, and the PlayStation 2 was the most popular console, I would say, until the 360. And then I would say the 360 probably, I don't know, there were still a lot of dedicated PS2 people, even when the PS3 came out.
Mhm.
But
the 360 had some issues too, but like
did.
it was still very good.
But after the GameCube, though, I remember everyone was so hyped for the Wii because of, like, the motion control and all that.
Yeah.
I personally was never a fan of that, and I think the Wii is what the best thing about the Wii is the fact that you could play GameCube games on it.
Mhm.
In my opinion, like, I just wasn't a huge Wii fan. Like, I mean, Wii Sports obviously is like one of the most iconic games ever made, and I love Wii Sports. But, like,
Yeah, we got Matt. That's his
Yeah.
name, right?
I mean, without Wii Sports, we don't have the greatest athlete to ever live, Matt.
the best athlete. No one can challenge him.
But
The picture I always think of when I hear Matt is the from Wii Sports Resort with him the sword and the cages, and he's just sitting there. Oh, too good.
But yeah, okay. For me, Nintendo's not dead by any means, no, because Nintendo is played and loved by so many people. I mean, the Switch is a really, really, really popular console. I don't think the Wii U, dude. I don't think the Wii U did.
No, it did very badly. Or
Yeah.
it didn't do badly, but it did like people were like it's kind of pointless to have this big tablet.
Yeah.
It was not until what I remember was because like it wasn't like mobile like the Switch. You had to stay in the same house and all this stuff. The only thing I remember that made the Wii U so amazing was when Super Mario Maker came out, because then like the tablet was the whole editing part.
Yeah.
So
I would say whenever the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 arrived, I think the 360 and the PS3 and still the PS2 at the time were blowing Nintendo out of the water. Just like, I don't know, Nintendo has never really changed. Like, they've always stuck with their guns. Like, they always have, like, your Marios and Kirby's and your...
yeah, but they're
You know what I mean?
exclusives. Like Nintendo's like the king of exclusives.
Yeah, like, Nintendo is still the same as it's always been, like, family-oriented type games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which, it's not that I don't like Nintendo personally, it's just...
You're like
when
one
it
of the
comes
main
down
people I
to
know
it-
that really like Nintendo, especially their older consoles.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, if I had the choice to play Zelda Breath of the Wild or play Gears of War again for like the 15th time, I'd probably play Gears of War for the 15th time. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the Xbox and PlayStation took gaming to like an entire other level that Nintendo. I just don't feel like Nintendo can reach what they've made it to.
Yeah, you basically run this entire segment because, like, I literally had a history of Nintendo part, and you basically did that entire part and your own opinions about those stuff. And what you think is better. Because I have part that says, what do you think is better, Nintendo, or do you think it's worse than the others? But
Yeah, like,
I never grew up with Nintendo. Literally, the only Nintendo device I've ever owned was a Game Boy. And I only played Pokemon on it, and that's it.
see, I did. I grew up on the 360, the PS2, and I did grow up on a lot of the GameCube and Wii stuff. Like, I did play a lot of Nintendo stuff as a kid, but...
Yeah, and then everybody had Nintendo DS's, and I'm over here like, no, I don't got that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Nintendo's dead or bad. Like, I just... In my personal opinion, Sony and Microsoft took gaming to a whole other level, and I think Nintendo's just content with, like, just being what they've always been.
Yeah, like, what I've always keep hearing is that, like Nintendo...
Sony and Microsoft keep, like, they're all about, like, the future of gaming, and they're trying to, like, improve with everything they bring out. Is like, they're trying to... Not that Nintendo isn't trying to be better. They're just, like, basically trying to, I don't know, like, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
like,
trying to, like, stay the same and stuff.
Yeah, Nintendo's like, Nintendo tries to make everything better with everything they come out with, and they do. But, like, they don't, I don't know, like, because of the fact that they stick to what they've always done, they haven't really done anything, like, groundbreaking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, what I've always heard was, like, Nintendo's not good at marketing, but they still know, like, but they're good at games, because it's like, I swear, every single time a new Mario game comes out, like, it's, like, the best one yet. Because, like, I remember when Super Mario Odyssey came out, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, and yeah. Honestly,
so, like,
I didn't hear much about that game after. Like, I heard a bunch of people, like, hyping it up, but then shortly after the game came out, I really haven't heard anything about it since.
Yeah, I was just... The only reason I would ever get a Nintendo Switch is I like the Legend of Zelda series, and I think it'd be really cool to play Breath of the Wild, but then the only other one is Smash, because I'm a fighting game player, and we play Smash pretty often with our other friends that have Nintendo Switches, and we like playing
Smash is a lot of fun. I love Smash.
Yeah, but that's the only reason I would get a Switch.
That would be the only reason that I would get a Switch as well, just to play Smash.
I guess Mario Kart and Mario Party, but I know Mario Party's not as good as it used to be.
Mario Kart hasn't been good. I mean, Mario Kart is Mario Kart, but the older Mario Karts, like, nothing beats the older ones. Same as Mario Party. Like, Mario Party, I don't think is ever going to recreate what it once had. Like, Mario Party would be so much fun, but now it's like, not that it isn't fun now, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things that, like, they should just stop.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, just I'm an Xbox player. I like PlayStation. The only time I hate PlayStation, which is one earlier, is like when they do, like, exclusive stuff. Like, I'm okay with, like, them making, like, Spider-Man or something that's only for their console. But, like, this whole thing with Avengers, where, like, they're adding Spider-Man as a character, but only for PlayStation, but yet we also, Xbox players, have Avengers to play. And it's like, I don't know, it just seems super weird. And it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I still would... I don't know. I think Nintendo is cool. And I do like there's, like, a gaming console out there that's, like, family friendly and mostly about all that stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing that like is super weird, even though I just said they're family friendly, their fan bases can get really toxic.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Pokemon, I
their fan base really like defends them like hard.
Yeah.
Like
and
like if someone listening to this right now is a huge Nintendo advocate, I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion. But
I mean, we're all pretty defensive about our own consoles and stuff. But they're like extra.
Yeah, they are.
Like I remember the one time, and they can even be toxic to their own like to their own companies. I remember when they made this new Pokemon game, and like there was some stuff that was sloppy like from the studio, but it still didn't look bad. But like the Pokemon fans took it way to an extra level. Like they were furious with it or something. I don't know. They get weird sometimes. I know the Smash community can get pretty toxic too. Like every time they release a new character, they're like, "Why isn't Waluigi in the game, bro?" Just I'm like, yo, chill out. I think Sora belongs in this game. Like I know people want him. Just chill out. But I don't know. Nintendo's like, they're family friendly, but their fan bases. It's like one of those where like the company doesn't suck. It's just the fan bases sometimes can get very annoying.
Yeah.
So,
maybe
but
it's
yeah,
one of those things too. Like I know some people are like Nintendo dedicated for life. Maybe it's just one of those things too where like I started playing a lot more Xbox and PlayStation, and I kind of like threw Nintendo out the window just because I started like getting older and like I started wanting to play like the more intense games like Gears of War and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with that type of stuff. And then like I look back at Nintendo and it's just like I have really no desire to play that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I'm loyal to Xbox, and I like once I'm loyal to something, it's gonna take a very, very like a lot of convincing to make me go to something else. That's why I always say like I know like you say about Resident Evil 4, back to that, and you're like dedicated to it, but like I am very, very connected to Resident Evil 2. That's why I'm like it's gonna take a lot for you to change my mind.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But that's why I stay with Xbox, because I'm super loyal. And everything I own is on Xbox. So if I switch to PlayStation, I have nothing. I'm literally bare bones nothing. So. But yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it all up.
I would say so.
Pretty wraps up for Nintendo. And that's the last segment for the day. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening. I want to thank our guest here, Trent, for coming in and joining the show. It was a lot of fun. Got some good topics out there. Got some good conversations. Guarantee you'll be back on the show sometime. Maybe, I don't know what we'll talk about, but
yeah, I'll be on.
We'll find out something.
I'll be around.
Yeah. Well, I want to get some of our other buddies in here, get some other stuff, but I know some people are going to want to come back probably, so hopefully, unless they hate it. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for listening. Make sure to, if you really enjoyed this, subscribe for more and like it, and just comment if you liked anything, or if you don't like it, hit the dislike button because YouTube's getting rid of it. I don't know. Just whatever you want to do.
Comment dislike.
Yeah, comment dislike if they get rid of it by now.
Treat it like Instagram. Treat it like Instagram. Be that one person that's like, use me as a dislike button.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching or listening. I always say watching. And I'll talk to y'all in the next one. See you later.